Hello and thank you for jumping onto Delta's Flight Bites. This session will focus on Delta's commitment to sustainability. Delta has a 10-year commitment to mitigate all emissions from March this year forward. This strategy will mitigate emissions across Delta's business globally, in the air and on the ground. Efforts will drive innovation, clean air tech, emissions and waste reduction. Did you know that the aviation industry accounts for roughly 2% of global CO2 emissions? Here is how we, as a company, are focusing on our efforts to become carbon neutral. So how is Delta addressing climate change? Over the next 2 years, we will take delivery of 168 new fuel-efficient aircraft. We've purchased over 12 million carbon offsets since 2012, and we're lowering our emissions through using electric vehicles on the ground and fuel efficiency gains in the air, reducing our emissions by 11% since 2005. One of Delta's primary commitments is to be a good corporate citizen, which includes lessening our environmental footprint through carbon neutral growth, reducing waste across the company, and investing 1% of net profits back into our communities. All of our joint venture partners are committed to sustainability. In Australia, Virgin Australia has been doing the following. Each year, Virgin Australia offsets over 30,000 tonnes of CO2 emissions, helping to preserve more than 28,000 hectares of forest. Virgin Australia donates over 8 tonnes of food to OzHarvest each month, providing over 16,000 meals to people in need. And Virgin Australia is leading the development of the sustainable aviation fuel industry in the region through their sustainable fuel trial in Queensland.
So every time we burn a fossil fuel, it makes CO2. Well, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is captured through photosynthesis. It goes into plants, into carbohydrates. We take the carbohydrates and we ferment them. We've genetically engineered yeast so that the yeast produce this chemical called isobutanol. I can take that isobutanol and do chemistry with it to make it into jet fuel, recycling carbon. 100% renewable resource-based replacement for fossil-based jet fuel, and yet it is still kerosene. That meets all the specifications that are needed to work with all engines and all infrastructure. And this would be a solution for greenhouse gases and the pollutants that come with the fossil-based fuel products. It doesn't have the particulates, an extremely low carbon footprint. It doesn't have the sulfur and nitrogen impurities that are typical with a fossil-based product. So it really is cleaner and greener. And you know what? We can also do it and generate enormous quantities of protein along the way for the food chain. We would get about 10 pounds of protein per gallon of jet fuel. It's no longer food or fuel. It's food and fuel. "15 years ago, we couldn't have done it. The technology didn't exist. Now it does exist. We've proven it. It works."
If you would like to offset your customers' flights, please visit www.co2delta.com/offset. Thank you for your time and interest.